Not long ago, I witnessed something that truly shocked me. A very healthy 70-year-old man suddenly collapsed after just a few steps of a brisk walk in the park. He did not have any serious underlying conditions. But as it turns out, he had ignored a warning sign that many seniors today are also ignoring. Many people think that after age 60, we should slow down, rest more, and avoid strenuous activity. But that very mindset is causing millions to gradually lose their mobility, then decline faster than ever before. Did you know that only 1% of people over 65 can still run a continuous mile without stopping? You might think, I have never been a runner, or at this age I do not have the energy. But in reality, if someone at 70 can still run, it is not because they are lucky, but because they have been quietly doing something right for years. And the good news is you can absolutely start today, no matter what your starting point may be. In this video, we will explore the elements that create that amazing endurance, from the cardiovascular system, muscles and joints, to the seemingly simple lifestyle habits that lead to lasting health. And most importantly, you will learn how to restart your health journey safely, sustainably, and with full inspiration. Watch until the end of the video because the most crucial part is something you already have, your will and desire to live healthily. And I will show you how to turn it into action, one step at a time. Let's get started. Number 1, maintain superior cardiovascular health. Did you know that if you can still run a mile without stopping at age 70, your heart is working like a middle-aged person's? It is no coincidence that cardiologists call running the most honest test for the cardiovascular system, because no weak heart could possibly sustain a steady running pace for over a mile. Most people believe that a weakening heart is a natural part of aging. But what few know is that the heart is like a muscle. The more regularly you work it, the stronger it becomes. Seniors who maintain a habit of gentle, regular running have unintentionally preserved their blood vessel elasticity, their heart's pumping strength, and blood flow to every cell. The result is more stable blood pressure, a lower resting heart rate, and a markedly reduced risk of heart attack or stroke. Dr. Angela Crane, a geriatric specialist in Minnesota, once shared that she has a patient named Louis, now 78 years old, living alone in suburban Minneapolis. Every morning he still runs a slow lap around the park near his home, regardless of winter or summer. His routine checkup results surprised the entire medical team. Blood pressure of 118/76, a resting heart rate of just 58, and good cholesterol well above average. I have never seen a heart at 78 that functions like a 40-year-old's, the doctor said. The interesting thing is, Louis never pursued sports professionally. He only started running at age 60 after retiring and deciding he needed a reason to get off the sofa each morning. He says, I do not run to break records. I run so that tomorrow I can still drive myself to the grocery store and do not need anyone to help open a jam jar. Running, or even just brisk walking, is not merely a physical activity. It is how you send a signal to your heart. I am still living actively. I still need you to work well. And the heart, loyal as it is, will respond by pumping more steadily, more strongly, and more resiliently every single day. If you find your heart beating fast after a few steps, or you get tired on the stairs, that is not necessarily age. It could be your heart whispering that it needs you to come back to it. No need to run a mile right away. But today, if you can walk for an extra 10 minutes, that is a small step to help your heart live longer, and you will too. Number 2, the musculoskeletal system remains supple and flexible. Do you remember the last time you bent down to tie your shoelaces, reached for a shirt on a high shelf, or turned your head to look behind you while backing up your car? Those small, seemingly simple movements, they are the silent measure of a flexible body. Yet many people over 65 start to experience stiff necks, sore knees, or an inability to turn as smoothly as before. They assume it is natural, an unavoidable part of aging. But the truth is the opposite. Flexibility is not lost naturally. It is only lost when we stop using it. Muscles and joints are like door hinges. If you open them every day, they stay smooth. But if left untouched for too long, the hinges will rust. Seniors who can still run a mile are not just strong in their heart and lungs, They have also preserved flexibility in every joint. Each gentle running step helps nourish the cartilage with joint fluid, keeps muscles elastic, and maintains the pliability of ligaments. That is why they do not feel stiff all over every morning when they wake up. Margaret, 75, from Santa Fe once shared, "I thought I could no longer squat because my knees had ached for years. But when I started gentle running again, little by little, my body began to respond. After 6 months, I could tie my shoes without needing a chair." That story is not a miracle. It is proof that joints can recover if moved correctly. Numerous medical studies show that gentle, rhythmic exercises like slow running, yoga, or regular stretching not only help strengthen muscles but also reduce joint stiffness and improve overall flexibility. A study from Tufts University that followed people over 70 who walk briskly every day found that, after 12 weeks, their range of motion in the shoulders and hips increased by an average of 18%, a very significant number for this age group. Flexibility is not a privilege of youth. It is the result of listening to your body and actively maintaining what you have. If you have ever thought you were too old to start again, just look at your own hands. You can still clench them, raise them, extend them. That means you still have a chance. Just by warming up each morning, stretching before bed, or even doing neck rolls while watching TV, you are doing something more valuable than taking medicine. You are giving your body the opportunity to stay flexible. Running a mile is not just a test of endurance, but also an affirmation. I am still in control of my own body. And for a senior, that is a form of freedom no one can give you except yourself. Number 3, better stamina and endurance than most peers. Have you ever noticed that among 70-year-olds, some get tired after a few steps, while others can walk for an hour and still chat happily? That difference is not in their age, it is in their endurance. Endurance is not something you are born with. It is built day by day from the smallest habits. Seniors who can still run a mile do not need to run fast. They do not need to finish first. But the very act of maintaining that distance shows their physical fitness is far superior to most of their generation. We often assume that after age 65, feeling tired is normal. But reality shows that most of that tired feeling comes not from age, but from the body no longer being conditioned. When we move less, our lung capacity gradually decreases, our heart beats faster with exertion, and our muscles no longer get enough oxygen to work efficiently. Conversely, when you exercise regularly, your body gradually remembers that pace, increasing its tolerance and adjusting your heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing accordingly. Stanley, a 72-year-old from Oregon, once said something that made many people think, "I started running not because I liked sports, but because I did not want to have to sit down and breathe after lifting a pan." When he started, he could only run a few hundred yards, but each week he tried for a little more. 6 months later, he could run a steady mile, his breathing stable, without stopping. Now he feels it is easy to climb 2 flights of stairs to water his plants, something he thought he would never do again 2 years ago. The magic of physical fitness is this: it does not demand you to get younger. It only asks for your persistence. Your body, even at 70 or 75, can still adapt and become stronger if trained properly. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic tracked over 300 people over 65 who did aerobic exercise for 10 weeks, and the results showed their VO2 max, a measure of cardiorespiratory fitness, improved significantly, by over 14% on average. If you have ever felt breathless while grocery shopping or had to rest while gardening, do not quickly assume you are getting weaker. That is just a gentle reminder from your body, I need to be trained again. Starting with small exercises, brisk walking, light stair climbing, or even just standing up and sitting down a few times a day, are all stepping stones to reclaiming the fitness you thought you had lost. Remember, running a mile at 70 is not about proving anything grand. It is simply evidence that you are still living with energy, something time cannot take away on its own if you do not let it slip away quietly. If you are still watching and finding this helpful, drop a number 3 in the comments below to let me know. And if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, I encourage you to hit follow and turn on the bell so you do not miss new videos. Your support helps us continue creating more useful and inspiring content. Number 4, reduced risk of chronic diseases. When you can run a mile at age 70, it speaks not only to your current health, but also reveals something silent, yet incredibly valuable. Your body is actively resisting chronic diseases. Diabetes, high blood pressure, bad cholesterol, belly fat, fatty liver. These are all familiar names to older adults. But what few realize is that these diseases do not just arrive naturally with age. Most of them appear because our bodies have stopped moving properly for many years. When you run regularly, even at a slow pace, your body begins to reactivate its self-healing mechanisms. Blood sugar is better regulated, fat is burned more steadily, and insulin works more consistently. The nervous system reduces stress, leading to deeper sleep. And good sleep itself is a potent medicine against many silently progressing diseases. Judy, 76, from San Diego, had been on blood pressure and diabetes medication for over 10 years. One day after her son, a sports physician, advised her to start walking briskly for 15 minutes each morning, she gave it a try. 6 months later, she began alternating walking with light jogging. A year later, her doctor started reducing her prescriptions. And now she only takes a single mild support medication, while all her health markers are within normal limits. She says, "I never imagined that being diligent with my walks would be the thing to save my whole body." There is no shortage of medical research proving that regular physical activity, especially whole-body exercises like slow running, can reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease by up to 45%, lower the risk of type 2 diabetes by up to 58%, and slow the progression of Alzheimer's in older adults. An older body is not weak, it has just not been reactivated correctly. You do not need to become a marathon runner. Just 20 to 30 minutes of movement each day, whether it is a brisk walk or a light jog, creates an endogenous medicine that fights off most of the chronic diseases stalking seniors. Remember, medicine can provide support, but movement is what truly runs the game. And if you can run a mile at 70, you are not just walking on a path. You are literally walking away from illness. Number 5, a resilient will and a disciplined training habit. Of all the things that make up a senior who can run a mile, the most powerful element is not in their legs, but deep inside. It is their willpower. Physical fitness can be trained, joints can be improved. But willpower, the thing that determines whether you continue to train every day, is the very core of resilience. And between the ages of 65 and 80, the people who maintain a daily exercise habit are often not the strongest, but the most consistent. Many people see older men and women jogging in the park and think they must have always been healthy. But the truth is, most of them have experienced illness, fatigue, and even periods of depression or significant loss in their lives. What keeps them getting up every morning and lacing up their running shoes is the habit they have cultivated over the years. Alan, 79, was a high school teacher in Austin. When he retired at 65, he gained weight, had high cholesterol, and suffered from insomnia. One spring morning, waking up breathless just from walking quickly to get the newspaper, he decided to change. Each morning, he walked 10 minutes around his house. After 2 weeks, he walked for 15. After a month, he started short, slow jogs. He persisted every day, rain or shine, whether he felt well or a bit tired. Now, 14 years later, he still runs a steady mile every morning, even on his 79th birthday. He once said, "It is not that I can run because I am healthy. It is that I am still healthy because I run." Willpower is like a muscle. No one is born with a strong one, but anyone can train it. And when you build small habits, like waking up on time, doing a light warm-up, logging each workout, those small actions gradually form an identity of proactive living. Science also confirms older adults with regular exercise habits are not only healthier, but also less depressed, experience less memory loss, and live an average of 3 to 5 years longer. But the most interesting part is they live happier. They feel a sense of control over their own lives, no matter how the world around them changes. If you think you lack the willpower to maintain a running routine, start with a very small commitment. Maybe 5 minutes a day. Maybe journaling your feelings after each session, or simply putting on your sneakers every morning, whether you go out or not. Because willpower does not need to be loud. It just needs quiet repetition day after day. Running a mile at 70 is not a competition. It is the whisper of a strong spirit. I am still moving forward by my own effort. Now that you have heard everything a senior who can run a mile truly possesses, from stable cardiovascular health, flexible joints, enduring stamina, and fewer illnesses to an iron will, I hope you understand that this is not just for mere admiration. It is a gentle reminder that all these good things can start with you at any time. Maybe you cannot run today. Maybe you are facing sore knees, shortness of breath, or the quiet fears that come with the name old age. But you do not have to overcome it all in one day. You just need to begin with one small action: getting up for a 5-minute walk, doing a light stretch before bed, or writing down how you feel after each session. These seemingly tiny behaviors, if repeated long enough, could become part of your nature, just as the one-milers built their own extraordinary feat. You do not need to wait until you are healthy enough to start. The act of starting is what will lead you to a healthier body, a clearer mind, and a more open future. Do not let age be a reason for procrastination, because change is never too late. And do not let ideal images discourage you, because the goal is not to finish fast, but to maintain a steady pace, day after day. Today, I invite you to ask yourself, could I be the next one? The one who does not let age limit my own journey? If you have ever had that thought, then the answer has already begun within you. Thank you for your time and for listening. If you found this content helpful, please do not hesitate to share it with a companion. Who knows, just one gentle suggestion could create another 1 in a million person in our everyday lives. See you in the next video, where we will continue our journey of living proactively, fully, and with inspiration at any age.